Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Ringo TV Reactions. I'm your host, Ringo. Welcome to the live stream. Yeah. I'm going to break down this interview that so-called Officer Tatum pretty much released. And we got to talk about it. We're going to share our thoughts, find out what's happening in these streets. The attorney basically accompanied the young men. And we want to talk about a lot that's going down. A couple of things I want to address when it comes to this situation. What's going on in Rich? See you coming in the building. I don't know, guys. Like, could somebody tell me, right? What is going on with this, guys? Somebody got to answer this. Somebody got to tell me what's going on. Like, are they trying to be like the Flintstones, or because I like, my first initial thought is rainbows. That's what I'm seeing. I'm thinking rainbow, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here, guys? Now, I need answers, because this is suspect. I don't care what nobody say. Something is suspect about this. Look, I'm just gonna leave it alone. Yeah. We'll talk about that in another video, I guess. Right? Let's just get to the content. It is what it is. We'll figure it out as we go, guys. So how everybody doing out there tonight? I hope everybody's being blessed. That's right. So in the news, the attorney representing these guys is a defamation attorney. So this guy, he's not playing around. He's coming after the liars, the grifters, the race hustlers. And I want to share my thoughts about what's going on in these YouTube streets in regards to the boys, in regards to Brandon Tatum, because now we already know he did interviews with the boys. And now it's like he brought the guys back on again. So I guess these guys are on tour. And I'm trying to figure out, like, why a defamation attorney is on Brandon Tatum. Look, guys, when I tell you Brandon, he's already been compromised when it comes to this case. He should not be taking any sides, man. That's why I don't rock with him. Y'all can rock with him if y'all want, but when I look at this case, I don't trust nobody. Because we don't know what these young men were involved with, and the fact that they already raised a lump sum of money on the Give, Send, Go. They got a defamation attorney. It's like everybody got their own attorneys and everybody trying to make money. If these young men would have just stayed quiet, didn't do no interview, and just let things play its course, nobody would be talking about them. They're the ones who came out and started running their mouth. If they would have just shut the fuck up, right? Stay quiet, nobody would know nothing about them. We know Christine aired out the photo with the guys. We know that already. But let's just be real. These young men got on social media and started to do interviews, putting themselves out there. And that is what made social media run with it and start to, share their thoughts and opinions. But anyway, let's get into the content, guys. So Officer Tatum pretty much brought the guys on with this attorney guy. And I don't know. It's like, I don't know if people really feeling the video, because when he did his previous interviews with Warren, remember those videos got upwards of 400,000 and 500,000 views. But you would think that the release of this video would have gotten the same views, but it didn't. It's like, it's struggling for a channel that has that many subscribers and reach. You would expect that video to be at least at 300,000 views already, but it's not. So it tells me that a lot of people are not really feeling what Officer Tatum is doing by promoting these boys like they're innocent. And that's basically what they were doing on the show. And I think that's wrong, because the attorney was like, oh yeah, they're 100% innocent. And again, we don't know what these young men did. See, I never accused them of killing Nolan. Never did. At the same time, I don't know them, and that attorney don't know them. So for him to say that they're 100% innocent, that's crazy. Like, nobody should be saying that, because you never know what bombshell information might pop up out of the blue and expose everybody involved. So let's get to the tape. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. Let's roll the film, find out what we got going on. Let's go.
We have Ed Pausick, Warren, Jax, and then we have Morgan here. And so I talked to Warren last time I was here. We had a really deep conversation, and I'm glad that we were able to get other perspectives now that we have Ed here. Ed is a defamation attorney. And I want to start with you, Ed. You know, why did you choose to work with the boys? What is your plans? What do you expect to get out of working with them? What's your expectations when it comes to defamation?
Well, I think an injustice in one place is an injustice everywhere. I hate lying. I care about the truth, but most of all, it's the actual people who are involved here. So first of all, I just want to say Tyler Cox really welcomed me here. My co-counsel, he's an incredible human being and he's an incredible attorney. And then after that, I had an opportunity to meet these incredible young men.
I think that as an attorney, you have to, I guess, represent yourself better. I mean, the way he's dressed, right? It's inappropriate for an attorney. I can't take him serious. I'm just being honest. Like, when we're dealing with a serious issue like this, and like you wearing this hat, this top, it's like you don't come across as a guy that takes your job serious. It's like you're too relaxed, and it's like you're at the beach having fun with the guys, like you're trying to fit in with the young guys, and it just says I'm not serious about what I do. Just because this guy, I guess people are saying, oh yeah, he was with Trump or had some dealings with representing Trump or something, that doesn't speak any volumes to me. Because, you know, I'm looking at the exterior and the way he's presenting himself. It would be more appropriate when you're on an interview to come there dressed like an actual attorney, in my opinion. Because I thought he was one of the guys that were on the boat at first. I didn't even think that was the attorney. That's all I'm saying. Let's get back to the content. Hit the like button.
And I just got to say, these guys are unbelievable. Warren, Jackson, Morgan, they're just beautiful people. They're really decent human beings. They're just great people. And, you know, that's why I'm here, because I want to help great people. And this is a very sad situation, but it's also...
Is it me or do he sound like Trump? Is it me? Am I hearing things? Maybe I'm just hearing things, I guess, right?
A very human situation, and it's a tragedy.
So you guys have, you know, obviously before this happened, I would assume you're living a regular life, young guys being in college, you know, having a typical experience, then you lose your friend.
This image here with the Flintstone outfits with these two guys, I don't know what's going on, bro. You know, I got to do a separate video where we got to find out if there was some rainbow activity, because it says rainbow. I don't care what anybody say. This is screaming. It's screaming loud. It says rainbow, rainbow, Flintstones. I don't know. Was this Halloween? Because I don't understand what masculine man is putting on that mess. I don't know if that's how they get down in Mississippi. I don't know. But somebody need to answer that damn question.
Nolan, and after that, what has life been like for you guys?
I think like ever since it happened, my life just like hit like a hole, like it just stopped. And I mean, we just got to live day by day from now on.
I could say definitely a whole flip upside down for our lives. It's like even going out, you know, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us.
Why would you be paranoid if you ain't do anything wrong? Those are the kind of things that I ask these questions. Like, if you didn't do nothing wrong, right? Why would you be paranoid? Those are strong words. Paranoid. It's like you're just worried about something. Why? If you didn't do nothing, right? If you ain't hiding anything, if there's no foul play, if there was no cover up, then why would you be afraid? You guys, well, not necessarily those guys, but Warren did an interview. Him, Tristan, they did interviews. They didn't have to do those interviews. And I don't trust Officer Tatum. I think that the dude is working with all kinds of people behind the scenes. He could be working with the feds, law enforcement. You never know who he working with, because if a defamation attorney feel comfortable coming on Officer Tatum, they're all working together, gang. They're all working together.
Get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse. We're really just trying to stay low key and not go out as much or anything like that.
So basically, they're playing victims right now. They're basically playing victims. I don't like the looks of this. I think this is disgusting, because it's almost like with the young men, and I get it, you know, if they're receiving bad press and, you know, death threats and other stuff like that, that's a little more serious, you know, but I think they should go to law enforcement with that. What I see as a problem with this, guys, is that they're taking the attention away from exactly what happened to Nolan Wells, if anything, because we're waiting in great anticipation for the toxicology results and the autopsy. We're waiting for that. That's what the public want to know. And I feel that these young men have hijacked the airwaves to the point where they're taking the attention from Nolan Wells' story, and it's like now it's focused on let's be the victim now. Let's sue people. And don't get me wrong, I mean, they need to go after people like Willie D. Live, Tissa Tales, who else? Who's the major players? Introverted Rockstar. Those guys need to be sued immediately. What's the other one? Taylor House Publishing. Those guys been lying on these men so much, bro. I mean, every single day they put out a lie, and they have no concern, guys. Trent Out Loud, that's another grifter. All these people, Fumi Delavoid, another grifter. She lied. Actually, she lied on Brandon Tatum. She lied on him. I got to do a video on that. She put out a blatant lie. She said that Brandon basically confirmed something about the boys. Like they all agreed that Nolan was jumped or something like that. But she said that Brandon Tatum said that. I don't recall him ever saying that. And I don't even agree with the dude. But they lying every day for clicks and views on YouTube. So if the attorney mean business about going after this type of stuff in terms of the people that are lying, then You know, I have a whole laundry list of content creators that are suspects when it comes to basically accusing these young men falsely. See, it's one thing to have criticism, ask questions, you know, you might speculate a little bit, but to come on social media and say, hey, Nolan friends, they killed him, that's crazy, because you can't do that. You don't have evidence. Even if these young men, let's just say hypothetically speaking, these young men unalived Nolan Wells, right? You would have to prove that. You would have to have evidence that can tie them to the crime scene, you know? And if you don't have that, you just can't go out here accusing people. It can get you in a lot of trouble. It could get you in a lot of trouble, guys. You know, so we need evidence, you know? And if there's no evidence that can tie them to the crime, then you can't just say, hey, because they're white, they did it. Because that's what's going on with the black community. The black community is blaming white people in Mississippi. They made it a race issue, and they're blaming these young men for the death of Nolan Wells. Now, again, without evidence, you can't accuse them of murdering anybody. And just because they're white does not mean that they did something dirty. You know, at the same time, this case is worldwide. It's very popular. Everybody's talking about it. And to me, the more these young men speak, the more they're opening themselves up to criticism. You know, it would be best to just shut up. That's why the officers would tell you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. And in this case, in the court of public opinion. You know what I mean? So to me, the best thing they could have done is just stay quiet. But because Brandon Tatum want clicks, he want views, he want to make money, he went out there and contacted these young men, made them feel comfortable, love bombed them, made them feel right at home in order for him to interview. And that helped Brandon Tatum to make a lot of money, you know? So I think that's the worst thing that these young men did, is actually focus on coming out into the public. Because here's the thing, guys. Nolan's mother put out the initial photo with the guys, right? We know that she put out the infamous photo with all the men, the young men that was with Nolan and so on and so forth, made it a race issue and all of that, right? I felt that what these young men should have did is never come on social media, right? Private all their social media so they don't have to waste time with you know, social media drama, threats, and all that goofy stuff, and just stay out of the way. You know what I mean? Just live their life. Don't come on social media. Don't speak. Don't give a rebuttal. Nothing. Because if you haven't spoken, nobody just can't accuse you. And now what happens is all the focus will be on the fact that Nolan's mother aired these guys out in the photo. So if anything, once you start seeing Ben Crump, Al Sharpton, and all of the so-called race hustlers and agitators and all these people that are just posting lies, once they start doing their thing, because you guys never put out anything into the public, now you can go retain your defamation attorney behind the scenes where we don't know what you guys are doing. And then before you know it, your defamation attorney can pretty much gather up all the suspects, everybody that been lying, because again, you guys never made a public statement. You remain silent. You went and seek legal counsel, and now a defamation lawsuit against content creators, news organizations, and various people would have been done in a manner where it would have hit everybody by surprise, and you would have been able to have a reason for why you're doing what you're doing, because you're a private citizen. It's like, hey, I've been private. I never came on social media. I'm just a good old kid that's just minding my business. But being that you guys came on social media, you did interviews with Brandon Tatum. Some of these guys probably went to other sources. It's almost like you forfeit that idea of a private citizen, because you came on social media. You aired out your own face now. So whatever judgment could have came against Christine Wonsley, it's almost like that's null and void now, because you guys are in the public light, basically soaking up fame, You guys are receiving clicks and views, people calling you for interviews. So it's like it just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel like a situation where you're a victim in the sense of privacy being exposed. It's like you guys want to be seen because you're doing these interviews. Now, when it comes to people lying and stuff like that, that's a whole different ball game. If people are lying, then yes, you got to deal with that, especially if it's affecting your life, your livelihood, where you can't go out in the street. But then again, you can have a defamation attorney and still be in the street and something happen to you. You know what I'm saying? The best thing for you to do is have protection. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you strap, make sure that you understand your rights. That way, if somebody were to try you, you're able to defend yourself. You know what I mean? But to be living in fear, it's not a healthy thing. You know, it's definitely not a healthy thing. And I think that all of those threats need to be taken serious, and you need to contact law enforcement and actually get them involved, because your attorney, he's just there to make money. Let's just call it what it is. The defamation attorney is there just to make money. That's his bread and butter. That's his hustle. He really don't even care about you guys. Like, just being honest. Like, attorneys, their job is to pretty much just do their job, get paid, and go home. They could care less about you. Because, case in point, let's say, for example, a guy was arrested for touching kids and he got an attorney. Well, why would that attorney represent a guy who's a pedo? Well, why? What attorney would put his reputation on the line to represent a dude who mess with kids? Well, that's my point. These attorneys just trying to get paid. They could care less if you did it or didn't do it. They just trying to get paid. Anyway, hit that like button, guys. Let's get back to the content. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's been hard because my friends and I are people. I mean, we like to be out and hang out outside of our friend group, you know, and not being able to like go certain places or, you know, walk around in public because our head's always on a swivel. It's really affected all of us. I mean, especially in like my family's standpoint.
I don't believe that none of the things he's saying is actually true, meaning I don't believe that these young men are walking around and they are just dealing with all of this type of stuff. I just don't believe that's happening. The reason being is I'm pretty sure these kids live in a predominantly white area, right? And I'm pretty sure that their community understand what is going on social media. It's almost, in my opinion, that what they're suggesting is that when they're out and about in Mississippi, that black people, I don't think that they're getting to the point, because throughout this interview, it's almost like Brandon he's not asking the right questions, guys. Like, this is something that he keep doing. It's like he don't ask the right questions. He say things that's trying to make a narrative or, you know, play a game on the viewers' minds. I believe that what these young men are essentially saying is that when they're out and about in the street, that black people, not white people, black people are trying to attack them. Do you understand? Because again, who would want to harm these young men from the white community? Who? Nobody. Why would a white man be walking up to these guys saying, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that? They're not telling you that these experiences that that's happening, they are not saying, oh, black people are doing this. Black people want to fight us. Black people said they're going to kill us. They're not saying that, because then now what you're doing, you're fanning the flame. Let's go.
My safety comes first. My friends and family safety come first too. And it's been really hard because I'm worried about like my family as well with me, and it's hard, but you know, we're just going day by day and just trying to get through every day, you know.
Can you give me some examples of what has happened? Have you guys had things happen online, threats online? Have you guys have any examples of people accosting you or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we have had countless death threats online.
Well, if you had countless death threats online, do you have receipts of that? Do you have social media platforms where it came from? Have you contacted law enforcement? Because, you know, anybody could come online and say, hey, I got death threats, I got this, I got that. That don't mean nothing. You know, you got to have receipts. And if you didn't make no contact with law enforcement, you're just wasting everybody's time. I'm not feeling sorry for you if you ain't do the footwork to make sure that you're protected.
Been spotted. I'll let you elaborate more on that. Being spotted.
I mean, people have obviously just pointed us out. I mean, as a group and even on a one-on-one setting, I think.
Who's pointing you out? See, again, they're not being specific in terms of who. Are white people pointing you out, or are black people pointing you out? This is why, guys, you got to pay attention when you're listening to these interviews, because they're trying not to push any buttons. They're trying not to push any buttons, but I want you to think logically. White people, right, in general, are not going to be targeting these guys based on the climate of what's going on social media. Predominantly, all black content creators have been speaking highly negative against Nolan Wells' friends, right? Ringo TV is probably like the only platform on YouTube that is actually neutral, that speaks on this case. You understand? But the majority of black content creators, they are focusing on race, and their job is to paint anybody that's white to be a suspect. That's what they're doing. They're basically saying right now that Nolan was jumped by a group of white guys. Didn't they say the same thing about Carmelo Anthony? So it's like the same playbook. You understand? So again, when you look at this case, you got to listen very carefully, because the only group that would be sending death threats would have to be coming from so-called black folk. But they're not saying, you get what I mean? Because they don't want to offend. They don't want to start a war. They don't want to say nothing, because I guarantee you a white guy is not sending death threats, not to these guys, you know, and they're not stopping them in the street.
It's really just like awkward, because I don't want to talk about this, and I know my friends don't want to talk about this any more than we need to. You know, we're still mourning one of our best friends' death, and it's hard to speak about it when, you know, like sometimes we just need some alone time, or sometimes we just need to, you know, lay back and not be around all this. And I mean, I've been called out in public, and I haven't been in public that much. I know my friends have had encounters in public. The threats have been insane from, you know, my stepmom and my dad, my mom, just everyone included, like even my brothers and my sisters. And it's just hard. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You see, what he's doing is he's playing the victim, guys. He wants you to believe that everything is hard. It's just so difficult. My life is ruined. This right here, guys, is a play. And Tatum, you should be ashamed of yourself for promoting this. You should let his attorney do their job. You know what I'm saying? Let his attorney and his team do what they got to do. By them coming on your show to pretty much do interviews like this, it's just so, it looks so fake, man. It's like, it's just all staged, and it's very clear that you're working with them to try to make them look good in the public eye. And again, we don't know these boys. We don't know what they did. We don't know if they're involved. We don't know. You know what I mean? So no content creator should be taking sides. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we haven't even gotten the autopsy and toxicology results, because that's going to change everything. Because if it comes back that Nolan Wells had drugs in his system, or is that he was highly intoxicated, then now what needs to come up is, were all these young men on that boat, on that island, drinking and smoking and acting a fool? Because if it was, then Nolan could have died by a freak accident. Nolan could have died and nobody known. He could have got hit by a boat. He could have collapsed in the water. Anything could have happened, and nobody probably seen him.
Like this has been taken to, and the level where this is at.
When you say you've been called out in public, can you give me an example of like, what do you mean? People are threatening you with weapons? People are, you know, not allowing you, denying you service? Because I heard that Trayston, he went to a corner store and they told him his money is not good there. They wouldn't even let him buy Gatorade.
Yeah.
Are you experiencing things like that, or something totally different?
Right.
See, now when you think about Tristan, being denied service, right? It's almost like what they're trying to spin with these boys is like they're being discriminated against, like they're experiencing racism, right? Because why would Tristan be denied service in a store? Like, who does that? Like, what store is going to deny a customer? That could get you in trouble just by that alone. And if that's the case, why Tristan and his family and team don't sue that store for basically discriminating against him? Because that's an easy win, an easy case. Let's go.
I wouldn't say like that. I think I haven't been denied, anything, but like Trayson, it's hard to hear from a good friend of mine that he's getting denied a Gatorade and a Red Bull before work and having to, like, he calls me and he's like, dude, you won't believe what just happened. He got called out at Walmart. Someone called him out at Walmart and was like asking him all these questions and trying to press him about it. And it's crazy to me. Like, we live in a very tight-knit community, and for people to, push back and say these things when they know what Ocean Springs is like, it's really hard. And
see, what I'm getting here, guys, and I have to go there. So you got to listen to me a little bit here, especially here, right? These young white guys, right? They come from privileged families. I can see that right now. They don't know. They have never experienced, right, what the typical black man, black woman deal with. They never had any experiences, because what they're dealing with social media is nothing compared to the upbringing of the average black man, black woman in America, right? And I'm not speaking from a place of racism or being called the N-word or any of that goofy stuff. I'm not focused on that, right? What I'm trying to make you understand is that these young men, they never had these kind of issues. So listening to them is almost like when a person never had an experience leaving the state they were born in. And when they get somewhere new, they experience people treating them a certain way. And because they feel so privileged, it's almost like, how dare you do this to me? It's one of them type of things, like they never experience hardship. They never experience criticism. Whereas people like myself and others, we experience these things on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not speaking from a race point of view. I'm just talking about difficulty, criticism, people lying on you, people gaslighting you, plotting against you, harassing you, sending you bad messages. This is an ongoing thing for a lot of us. We deal with it all the time, So what these young men have to understand, and their attorney needs to understand, is if you're going to be online making threats about going after people for defamation, you need to go after Ben Crump and stop wasting your time looking for easy fish. Now, I understand you might have big voices on social media that have been spreading a lot of lies. By all means, go after those particular content creators. But at the same time, I think that these young men are playing the victim. And I feel that they're taking away all the attention off of what happened to Nolan Wells. And it's almost like they're just trying to clear their name so that they could just go about their life, and they're seeking compensation. It's like, well, I'm trying to make money off the situation too. Everybody's getting paid. Nolan mom got paid. We could get paid too, because when you think about defamation, what exactly are you trying to do? You're trying to make money. So at the end of the day, nobody ain't going to jail for talking about these guys. So they're greedy at this point. They're seeking money, guys. They're not thinking about Nolan Wells. They're not thinking about grieving a friend. They're thinking about greed. They're focusing on money. Again, it's one thing if you're being lied on. It's one thing if it really sabotaged your life to the point where you're losing wages, you lost your job. What exactly did these young men lose in terms of business, in terms of educational opportunities, their livelihoods? Were they fired from their job? Like, what losses they took? See, if they didn't take no losses in that regard, then that's not it. This case is null and void. It's like you're wasting your time. At this point, you're looking for money. And that's what I see from these young men. At this point, they're just looking for money.
I mean, I haven't had many personal encounters, but I know being around the guys and stuff like that, they have. So,
And Ed, as an attorney,
Shout out to Judah Quez 144 for joining the membership. Salute. Said hit the like button. And shout out to everybody in the live chat. Those of you that are in the clouds, if you want to join the live chat, become a channel member. It is not expensive, guys, to be a channel member. Like, I seen people, they come here, they're not members, right? And they'll post a super chat. They'll post a super chat of $10. And I'm like, you could have just became a member and post $5 super chat. You know what I'm saying? That way you could be in the live chat interacting with everybody. So be smart, guys. Just join the membership. Let's go.
that's representing these boys. I mean, what does that make you feel like? You know, do you feel like you got a good case here, or what's your perspective in that? Because people are online, and
Who, Brandon? Because you're a sellout, fam. Brandon Tatum is a sellout, like point blank, period. He's a sellout because he's playing both sides. 1 minute he played a side of white folk, and then he played a side of black folk. And he's capitalizing off of both sides, guys. Like, seriously, he's capitalizing off both sides. He's saying, if you got a case here, a case against who? Could we call names? Like, who's the target? Who lied on these boys? Who's the biggest liar? Because if these kids got an attorney, then who are the big fish? Because normally the one with the biggest microphone, the largest platform, they're causing the most damage. That's why I'm talking about these grifters on YouTube, these race hustlers that been lying every single day, like Willie D Live. I think Willie D Live is the biggest liar on YouTube concerning the Nolan Wells case. Like, as of today, Willie D Live is the #1 grifter on YouTube right now. He lied every day. Then you have these other mini grifters that are on the up and coming. Taylor House Publishing. He need to be sued. Like, the attorney for these young men, you got to go to Taylor House Publishing's YouTube platform. If you go to that platform, you will hear the most disgusting lies about these guys. It's just sick, the amount of lies these guys are publishing every single day. And they're profiting from all of these lies. So if this is about getting justice for these guys in terms of being lied on, then I get it. I understand that thing. But once it start looking like everybody just trying to get paid, and it looks kind of petty, man, after a while, because they're putting themselves out there. These young men are putting themselves out there. They're doing interviews. As well as I know, when you put yourself out there, people are going to criticize everything you say. And if you are Nolan Wells' friends, everybody's going to have an opinion. So when you guys hire a defamation attorney, it's almost like you're trying to use white privilege, almost. Like, it's like one of them things of, well, if you're black and you're talking against these white privileged kids, we're coming after you. It's one of them type of things, like you're trying to silence people because they black. And that's going to open up another can of worms, because people should have a right to share their thoughts and their opinions. I get it. If these guys are being falsely accused of killing Nolan and there's no proof, I get it. But isn't it kind of too early to do that? We didn't get the results in for the autopsy. We didn't get the toxicology results. So why are these kids basically hiring a defamation attorney for what? How that attorney don't know who the fuck these kids are. They don't know what these kids did. They don't know if these kids had any involvement. He wasn't there. Just being real. And to be honest, nobody gives a fuck about that attorney. I'm just being straight up and just raw and uncut, fam. You don't fucking scare me. I'm going to speak my fucking mind, bro. Like for real. Because when you do stuff like this and you go on Officer Tatum's page, it's almost like you trying to threaten everybody to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And what happens is it put everybody on notice. It's almost like, well, we getting tired of y'all black folk making money. You know what I mean? It's like we going collect all this money from you guys and pay these kids all this money. If you're going to do all of that nonsense, you need to go after the ones that are actually lying. But when you put out content like this and you don't name names, it's almost like you putting everybody on notice. It's like we catching strays and we don't got no involvement with that nonsense. You got people out here that are actually sharing real commentary, breaking down this whole thing. And then you got those out there that are lying every day. If you're a defamation attorney, you need to get your shit together. If you know who the fuck is out here lying on these young men, you need to call their fucking names out and make it clear. You know, like how Cardi B did when she had her issues with Tasha K? It was very evident who she was talking about. You know what I mean? And she made a public example out of Tasha K. But you don't want to be subliminally just throwing messages out there and saying, well, you got time to retract your statements and to apologize. You got to name names so the world know who you're talking about. Let's get back to the content. Hit the like button.
Obviously, they know who you are. Obviously, they know you represented Donald Trump in some pretty high-profile cases. And so now that you've joined, or at least now you work for the young men here, you hear them say things like they've been accosted, they've been, threatened online. Does that make your case a greater case, or how do you work within what's happening to these young men?
Well, unfortunately, I wish there was no case. I wish this hadn't happened. But unfortunately, because these things did happen, there is a case, and now there's multiple cases.
Multiple cases against who? If you guys are going to come on public and do interviews and not make the world know who's who, then you guys are fighting a ghost at this point. You see what I'm saying? And you're not doing your homework. Because when it comes to defamation, the world need to know who are the suspects. It's no different than if somebody committed a crime. If somebody murdered somebody, who are the suspects? Are these suspects invisible? What are their names? That way, the internet can begin to buzz like, yo, the attorney for the boys, they called out Willie D live. Yo, he's on a list. Yo, it's crazy. They released a list of all the content creators that been lying on these boys. So it's like, at this point, who are they talking about?
And I'm going to tell you something. If you're out there and you lied about these guys, you lied about my guys, you lied about Tyler's guys here, if you lied about Morgan, if you lied about Jax, if you lied about Warren, we're going to get you.
We're going to get you. Okay, who? Who are you going to get? Because you're doing this on Brandon Tatum's platform. So basically, you and Brandon is good. Brandon is not a part of the defamation lawsuits, right? Because Brandon is embedded with the whole system. He's a paid agent. He already been sold out. That's why I told you guys, when I called out Brandon in my videos, a lot of y'all got mad, but y'all don't understand. Brandon is bought and paid for. You see what I'm saying? He already showed his hand. He is defending these boys at all costs. He already said it in a previous video that I published on my platform, and I showed you guys exactly what that looked like. Let me see if I can find that clip, man. I don't even know if I can find it, but let me see if I can pull it up, gang. Give me a minute. Let me look through this thing because I could probably find the video and scroll to the top and get you guys to see exactly what's going on because let me see. Is this it? Let me see if this is it. Let me see. Brandon begs for acceptance. No, that's not it. I think this is it here. I think this is the one. Let me see. Yeah. Let me put this video on the screen to kind of remind you guys, because probably y'all didn't see this video, right? Y'all probably didn't see this video. So let me add this to the screen so that you guys can get this. Give me a minute. Let me set this up. Damn, I don't even know if this video is going to play. It's a 4K resolution video. I don't know if it's going to play smooth. But then again, it's in 24. Yeah, it should be able to play smooth. It's in 24 frames per second. If it was in 60 frames, it wouldn't be able to play. But let me kind of fast forward it to the point where I want you to hear something very important for the court of public opinion, right? Okay, let's get up to this part here so that I can share this. Let's go. Hold on, let me get the volume on my end. Let's see. All right, we should be good now. Because you're on our side.
Why did you choose?
Hold on, let me rewind it back a little bit so you could get the understanding.
Now he's trying to pivot over into, oh, please, I apologize. You know, I don't really take sides. When he took sides, he lied, guys. He said that he don't take sides and that he's just focusing on the truth. But when you look at the interview that he did, guys, with the boys, he asked the boys, why did y'all interview with me? And the boys basically said, we interviewed you because you're on our side.
Why did you choose to do it now? And why did you choose to not speak to anybody but me?
Right. Okay. Well, you know, Officer Tatum, I've been watching you for a good while now, and you know, I think you're a great guy. You've kind of, ever since things got really hot, you've kind of been on my friends and I's side.
You heard that? When things got hot, you were on my friends and I's side.
Ever since things got really hot, you've kind of been on my friends and I's side. Ever since things got really hot, you've kind of been on my friends and I's side, and I really like that about you. I mean, I thought
he really liked that about you because he know that you a puppet. He know that he could count on you. You see that, Officer Tatum? He know that you work for him.
You were very confident and well-spoken, and I really enjoyed that. And all my friends and I watch you. We all think you're great.
They're all fans of him. We all think you're great, he said.
We love your faith with the Lord.
We love your faith in the Lord. Gaslighting, love bombing. Let's go.
You know, we try to be closer and closer with the Lord every day, and so did Nolan, you know, and you know, that we just really liked the way you spoke about us and how you took our side, not based off
how you took our side. You see that? You cannot take sides in this case. You got to be impartial, guys. You understand? Just like when you're on doing jury duty, you can't take sides. Once you do that, you've been bought and paid for.
Someone's agenda, and you know, based off of race, because I mean that's a horrible thing, you know.
Interviewing with me, right? You know, we came out here to Mississippi. We just want to give the boys a voice, give you guys a voice. And out of, I'd say, all the other outlets that you could have spoken to, why do you feel that you wanted to talk to me tonight?
Honestly, I'm a big fan. I know when I look at news articles, big news articles, obviously, and then I know you talk on them, I make sure I I watch the full thread of videos. I think our morals align alike.
And he said that our morals align. So he looked at Brandon and said that Brandon's morals are just like his morals.
When we spoke off camera, like it didn't seem like you were out here like another news reporter that just wanted the next big story.
But that's exactly what Brandon wanted, was the next big story. That's why he's interviewing you guys. Y'all don't even understand how YouTube work. Brandon Tatum don't give a fuck about you. What he care about is that YouTube check and those sponsorship deals. Let's go.
Like you just said, it's like you genuinely wanted us to have a platform to be able to speak and to be able to tell the truth.
That's what your attorney should do, not Brandon.
Ever since things got really hot, you've kind of been on my friends and I's side.
And that's what I like. And I know, I don't know, talking to Warren and knowing Miss Katie and being close to them and them trusting you was like, okay, I can sit down, I can have this conversation.
Wow. So because those other people trust him, you could trust him too. I'm telling you, Brandon, you sold out, bro.
Ever since things got really hot, you've kind of been on my friends and I's side.
And we can go through it and we can have the interview on camera and people can see me really.
They don't need to see you, because if you didn't do nothing wrong, why are you on camera sharing your thoughts? There's no need to. If you guys know that you didn't do nothing to Nolan Wells, there is no need for you to talk. You don't need to prove nothing to nobody. Nothing. The burden of proof is on Crump and his team. You guys don't got nothing to say because you didn't do nothing and there's no proof that you did anything wrong. So why do you need to give any sort of thoughts and words to the public? Why? If anything, that's a sign of guilt.
I guess you could say, and talk about it and whatnot.
I appreciate that. I really do. I thank you for coming out here, man. It took a lot of courage putting your face out there.
Now watch what Brandon Tatum says.
Putting your name out there, putting the statements out there. Some people are gonna be mad at you, but I'll tell you, like I told Warren and all the other boys, is that I got your back, man. You tell them the truth. I appreciate that. You being a good man, doing what's right. I got your back, man.
Wow, I got your back. Imagine that, guys. I just wanted y'all to see that clip. If you want to see the full video, just go on the video section on my platform and you can pretty much find the entire clip of this particular video that's on the screen and you can hear my thoughts on it. So let's get back to the interview that Tatum is doing with the guys so we can hear what the attorney got to say. Let's go.
And you're going to be hauled into court.
Hold on, let's rewind it back so we get the context of the threat that the attorney put out there. Let's get the whole threat, because he declares war against the grifters and the race hustlers and pretty much any content creator that is speaking on the case.
Does that make your case a greater case, or how do you work within what's happening to these young men?
Well, unfortunately, I wish there was no case. I wish this hadn't happened. But unfortunately, because these things did happen, there is a case, and now there's multiple cases. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you're out there and you lied about these guys, you lied about my guys, you lied about Tyler's guys here, if you lied about Morgan, if you lied about Jax, if you lied about Warren, we're gonna get you. And you're gonna be hauled into court, you're gonna be held accountable, and it's gonna be very painful.
You're gonna be hauled into court, it's gonna be very painful. That don't sound like an attorney. That sound like a threat. That sounds violent. You're going to be hauled, dragged into court, and it's going to be painful. Really? Do you got that kind of energy for Ben Crump? Or is Ben Crump not on the list? Do you feel that way about Christine Wonsley and her husband? Are you going to give them that kind of smoke? Or are you just going after content creators because you figure content creators are making money? Because, guys, you got to look at this thing from a financial standpoint. A lot of these people don't care about the truth. They care about money. Money. That's what everybody's focused on right now. You understand? So when I look at this attorney, again, first of all, I don't respect the way he's dressed. He's trying to dress like he's 18, like the boys in them. And he's not coming across like a man that you could take serious. And I don't like the fact that he's throwing out those threats and saying this and saying that. It's almost like, why the fuck you telling me for? You understand what I mean? Like, if you're going to do whatever you're going to do, just do what the fuck you're going to do. Don't come on social media via interview and throw threats out there via social media. Don't do that type of stuff. Don't use all those scare tactics and all that other like you're trying to strong arm people. You know what I mean? Because you could look at these boys. They're nervous. They don't know what to do. They're looking at you for some sort of leadership and guidance. And you're here on Brandon's show doing this goofy stuff. And then you got Brandon sitting there like this whole shit is a damn play, bro. Like for real, for real.
And what I would say to the people who have done that is now's your chance. If you want to apologize and retract before you find yourself in court, you should probably do that now. Who are the people you talking about? This is what I'm saying, man. It's like, you got to be more clear. Like, who are you talking about? That would have made this interview
way better. It would have got a lot of public attention because here's the thing. Not only would it have gotten attention on social media, but it would have got the attention of who you're talking about. Then it would have made mainstream news because the news media would have aired it out. They would have been like, wow, the defamation attorney for the boys send a strong warning out to various YouTubers, and they would have been calling them by name. And now the world would have been waiting for these content creators to retract statements, to possibly delete videos, issue public apologies, whatever the case is. But let's just be real, Mr. Attorney. You know good and well that y'all don't care about no public apologies or none of this nonsense. What y'all care about is making money. Let's just be honest. You're not there for just to play. You want to get paid. You want to get paid because you realize a lot of these content creators are making bags of money. You know what I mean? And you know who they are. I just want to see if you guys are going to put out the names of exactly who are the ones that deliberately lied on these boys, because we know who Warren is. We know who Tristan is. These other two guys, I haven't seen them been interviewed, so they're new. But when it comes to lying, you got to produce who made these lies. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, guys. Maybe you guys could correct me if I'm wrong. But is this attorney the same one that's representing Bart? I'm trying to figure this out. Is one of these, because that name is different from these guys. So it's like, is he representing Bart, or do Bart have another attorney? So Bart doing his own thing. So Bart got a separate attorney specifically for him, right? Because that's what I need to make sure that we got. Because once I heard that the friends lawyered up, I'm thinking this attorney representing everybody. So, okay. So you're saying that Bart got his own attorney. So this is crazy. This is crazy. That what this tells me is that Bart is basically trying to separate himself from these guys too. This is getting really fishy, guys, because if Bart and all these other guys are really cool, then they would all have the same attorney. It would make things easy, clear. But it seems as if though Bart don't want to have nothing to do with them based on what I'm seeing. Because if they all got separate, different attorneys, that means Bart is like, look, man, I'm covering my own tail. You guys, because they did Bart dirty. You know what I mean? They did him dirty. You got people on social media saying that Bart killed Nolan, that he choked him out and killed him. They're saying that Nolan was lynched on Horn Island. I don't even think they got any trees over there, guys. So I'm trying to figure out how could they lynch him with no tree. You know what I'm saying? But they spread a lot of lies. A lot. It's sick. You know? But, hey, to each his own, man. I just hope that this attorney actually put out real information about who these suspects are that been lying on these boys, and stop putting out subliminal messages. Subliminals is not helping the public. If we know who's who, that's how word is going to get back to them. Because when you put out names and you're like, yo, this content creator, that content creator, it now puts them on notice, you know? But for you guys to be doing this in the public eye, to me, and I'm just throwing it out there, it sounds like y'all full of shit. Sound like y'all bullshitting. It sound like y'all don't even have a damn case, almost. And it almost sound like, even though a lot of these content creators are grifters, are race hustlers, it's almost like, based on the laws and the protections of free speech and various other things, your hands are tied and you really don't got no case. But you want these content creators to be scared so that they can go out there and start retracting statements and deleting videos and doing X, Y, and Z. That's how it looks right now. Because to be honest with you, if you're really about your business, if you're really about just doing what you got to do, you wouldn't be doing no interviews. You just do what you got to do. You get what I'm saying? Like, a content creator would just receive letters in the mail. They'll just get that email. They'll just get whatever they got to get, and you'll just handle business. If it was really that serious, you know what I mean? This sounds, again, it sounds weak. And I'm just being honest because it's done in an interview form. Real attorneys don't do interviews. Real attorneys just do their job. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you're using the platform of Brandon Tatum to get the word out there, to bring momentum to whatever it is you guys got going on. I'm just calling it for what I see.
Because if you don't do that, once you're in court, now you just can't leave. You won't be able to get out of it. And we're not going to name names because there's some other folks who are doing that, and we want to be better than that. And I want to emphasize this, right? We're not here to guess. We're not here to speculate. We're only going to deal in facts, right? And here's the most important thing, right? We don't know how Nolan Wells died. No one here is saying we know. But what we do know is Morgan, Jax, and Warren had nothing whatsoever to do with Nolan Wells' death. And that's what's important. And unfortunately, because there are people who want to divide a town and come in from the outside.
Well, who's the one that's dividing the town? Well, that's Nolan Wells' mother. Nolan Wells' mother is the one who made this a race issue. So if there's anybody you guys supposed to be going after, is Nolan Wells' mama. Remember, she got $800,000 sitting on her GoFundMe. You get it? So that's a good amount of money for you guys to go after, especially for these boys, because that's blood money. She used her son's death in order to divide Mississippi, and basically hired a civil rights attorney. See, you're a defamation attorney, so your line of expertise deals with these damn grifters that been lying. See, you're more, I would say, credible as an attorney in this case because it deals with what these young men are dealing with, which are lies, right? But now when you look at the ambulance chaser, Ben Crump, he's a civil rights attorney. So what the fuck he's doing in this case? What does this case have to do with civil rights? Whose civil rights were violated? That's the wrong attorney for the job. But let's look at this thing from the way it looks, from the lens of Nolan Wells' mama. She made it a race issue. When she published the photo with these young men, she made it a race issue. Because I've talked about this. If Nolan Wells' friends were black, nobody would care. Nobody would care, guys. And that's just the honest truth, man. Nobody would care. If it was black guys, what they going to say about Mississippi? They're going to say Mississippi's racist? Are they going to talk about Mississippi's past? If all Nolan friends were black? No, they can't. You see? But because he had white friends, they started to pull the race card, and the mother is the one who is responsible for that. So to the attorney, that's the one you're supposed to go after. Then you go after Ben Crump, because Ben Crump divided Mississippi. Ben Crump, through his tactics and his methods with Al Sharpton and the other ambulance chasers, they're the ones who divided the community. They the one who are the race hustlers. And then you got the content creators who are out here doing all the evil. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can get that on the screen. Give me a minute, gang. Let me see if I can get this on the screen for you guys. Let me go into this thing. I don't know if I got it here. Do I have it here? Let me see. Give me a minute, guys. I think I have it here. Let me see if I got this thumbnail for you guys. Because it's very important that we know who's who and who the hustlers are and whatnot. Let me see where they at. Okay, here we go. Let me see. Here we go. Here, let me put this on the screen. And keep in mind, guys, there's other suspects when it comes to the ones that are putting out the lies, right? This is a good list right here. This is a beautiful list of a lot of people that are spreading information about these young men that are lies, and they're making a ton of money. These are the money makers right here. The big money makers on YouTube in regards to spreading lies, misinformation. These are the hustlers right here. You know what I mean? And there's about, we got to add in the woman that did the thing with that, the Cito phone call, the one who added text, alleging that Bart killed Nolan. Yeah, we got to get the poetic guy up there too. We got to get him. I'm gonna update the list. I know who you're talking about, that other dude with the big mouth. We got to get him up there too. He's another grifter, right? We got to put him up there. We got to put the so-called engineer lady. We got to get her on the list. And there's a few others. I got to add them to the list, right? But these are the hustlers, right? You got Freezy. He's one of the hustlers. You got Lakeisha. She's another hustler. You got Trent Out Loud. You got Willie D Live. You got Introverted Rockstar. He's another grifter, hustler. Taylor House Publishing. Them two on the bottom, I forgot their names, but they're grifters too. You have Tissa Tales. You have, Fumi Della Void. Nancy Grace. She's now hustling too, because she keep talking about stuff that been debunked, and she keep over exaggerating it in order to get clicks and views. We also have another race hustler, Don Lemon. You know, a lot of guys, right? You forgot about Don Lemon's past. We got to do a separate video about Don Lemon. Let me see if I can pull it up, guys. Give me a minute. Let me see if I can get the tapes about Don Lemon's history. Let me see if I get this, guys. Give me a minute. Where is it, guys? Because I know I have it here somewhere. Do I have it? Did I download it? Let me see. Let me kind of comb through this thing real fast, guys. Because a lot of people, they ride with Don Lemon, right? But they don't understand that Don Lemon, he spoke against black people when he was connected to the media. And I want to see if I could pull that tape up. Where the heck is it, guys? Give me a minute, man. I know I got it here somewhere. Don Lemon. Is this it? Let me see if this is it. I don't know if this is it. No, that's not it. I know I got it here somewhere, guys. Give me a minute. Give me a minute, guys. Because it got to be here. So it's on the 10th. So that's yesterday. So it would have to be in one of these files here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I don't see it, guys. I really don't see it. Is this one? Let me see. Okay, this is it. Yeah. Okay, guys. I'm going to put something on the screen. I want to show you something with Don Lemon, right? We're going to do a separate video about this. But I want to show you how Don Lemon, when Don Lemon was associated with CNN, right? Because a lot of black people forgot about this. I'm going to show you how Don Lemon used to go in talking about black folk, right? In a negative way. A lot of y'all ride with him because once Don got let go from the white man, he became a so-called pro-black, if that makes sense, right? So let's remind you about what Don Lemon did. Let me see if I can remind you with this. Let me get the grifters off the screen. And we'll get back to the interview shortly. But let me show you this, right? Very, very important that you guys understand what took place in this clip. Let me see. Do this. Okay, that's set up. All right. Let's play this particular video and remind you of Don Lemon. Let's go.
Pay attention to and think about what has been presented in recent history as acceptable behavior. Pay close attention to the hip hop and rap culture that many of you embrace, a culture that glorifies thug and reprehensible behavior.
Let's talk about race. Let's talk about black on black violence.
The outrage that I have is in the lack of really the national attention to what is an epidemic of crime in the black community committed largely by blacks.
Why aren't we talking about it? Good question.
Hold on, let me get that volume up even more. Give me a minute, guys. Give me a minute. Let me get that volume up. That's right. That's an old video, but we got to get that volume right. Let's go.
So listen to this.
The reason there is so much violence and chaos in the black precincts is the disintegration of the African American family.
He's got a point.
Wow.
In fact, he's got more than a point.
Wow.
Bill?
Raised without much structure, young black men often reject education and gravitate towards the street culture, drugs, hustling, gangs. Nobody forces them to do that. Again, it is a personal decision.
He is right.
And this is Don Lemon, the guy that you so-called blackity blacks. What's this damn YouTuber's name, bro? I got to get the video clip of the bruh man saying blackity blacks. I think it's called Black Conservative Perspective, something like that. I came across his video. He was like, yeah, the blackity blacks. But yeah, this is Don Lemon, the real Don Lemon, of how he used to go in talking about black people every day on CNN. Once CNN kicked him out, all of a sudden he became pro-black. I'm just trying to remind you guys of how Don Lemon feels about the black community.
About that too. But in my estimation, he doesn't go far enough. Because black people, if you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing. Here's number 5, pull up your pants.
Think about this, guys. He's doing this on CNN. Think about that now. White network, Don Lemon is doing this. Stereotyping the entire black community. And that's what Don Lemon was doing, guys, on national TV.
Fix the problem. Here's just 5 things.
Now think about this. You think they're going to put a white man to do this? Never. They wouldn't put a white man to say 5 things that the black community, the black people need to do. That'll cause a race war. But they put Don Lemon because he's a sellout. That's why. Listen.
That you should think about doing. Here's number 5, pull up your pants. Walking around with your ass and your underwear showing is not okay. In fact, it comes from prison when they take away belts from the prisoner so that they can't make a weapon. And then it evolved into which role a prisoner would have during male-on-male prison sex. The one with the...
I mean, for Don to talk about male-on-male prison sex, nah, man, let me bring up this receipt. I got to bring up this receipt, Don, because you of all people, you can't even be saying this, bro. Like, for real, for real. Like, let me see if I can go get this receipt because I'm into getting receipts and I got to go do what I got to do. So let me go pull up this wonderful receipt of Don Lemon. Let me see if I get this thing. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Let's see. Give me a minute, guys. Give me a minute. Because I know I got it here somewhere. I got so many things on my desktop, bro. This is crazy how many photos I got. I know I'm not the only YouTuber that have photos forever, man. Where is this photo, bro? Let me look through this. Let me see. Gotta be here somewhere. I don't know. I download these photos and I can't find them all of a sudden. You know what? Let me go Google. Let me go Google this real fast, guys. Well, maybe it's on this thing. Let me see. Don Lemon. Will anything pop up? Nope. Let me go to Google. Give me a minute, guys. Don Lemon and his husband. Yeah. Let me get that. Don Lemon and his husband, because, you know, you got to bring these things up, guys. You got to bring them up. When you have these arguments and you're doing this type of stuff for content, You got to bring out receipts and show people the real so that the public can know what's going on, because I don't like grifters. I don't like liars. These people that come online and say things and yet they have their own way of living and they have the nerve to talk about everybody else. It's disgusting. But hey, let me see if I could do this. Where's that wonderful photo? Where's that one where he was holding hands? That's the one I want to get. Where the hell it go? It's so funny. I got all these images on my desktop, but for some reason I can't find them on the system here. But I could use this one. Nah, that one looks cheesy. Yeah. Oh, here go one. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, this'll do. That will do. Definitely. And hit this one too. Okay. This will help my case in what we're doing here. Yeah. Okay. So let's put this into the stream. Give me a minute, guys. Give me a minute so I can sort this thing out. Again, in the meantime, between time, guys, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. For the best content on YouTube. Nobody else does a better job, guys. Nobody else. All right, so let's get these images on the screen so that we can talk about Don Lemon. Right? Let's get this here. Right? Because it's very important that we have these images on the screen, because while Don is talking, I need for everybody to understand what we're dealing with, because the black community supports Don Lemon. He's the voice of the black community now as a grifter. Right? So now that we got those things, let's rewind this thing back and listen to Don's voice as what he say, and I'm going to show these photos.
Fix the problem. Here's just 5 things that you should think about doing. Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. Walking around with your ass and your underwear showing is not okay. In fact, it comes from prison when they take away belts from the prisoner so that they can't make a weapon. And then it evolved into which role a prisoner would have during male-on-male prison sex. The one with the really low pants is a submissive one. You get my point? Number 4 now is the N-word. By promoting the use of that word when it's not germane to the conversation, have you ever considered that you may just be perpetuating the stereotype the massa intended, acting like a nigger?
Think about this, guys. Don Lemon is doing this on CNN. The guy that you are listening to covering the Nolan Wells case. But he had no problem identifying you guys as N-words. He had no problem pushing all the stereotypes on all black folk, generalizing black folk. He was doing the bidding of massa. You see that? That's what Don Lemon was doing before CNN let him go. He had no problem doing this. Now he's a pro-blackity black now. Let's go.
A lot of African Americans took offense to that too, and I wondered if I gave the right advice. I really did. But confirmation came the very next day on my way home when I exited the subway on 125th Street in Harlem. This little kid in a school uniform, no older than 7 years old, he was crying his eyes out as he walked down the sidewalk with his mother. I'm going to be honest here. She turned to him and she said, "I'm sick of you. You act like an old ass man. Stop all that crying, nigger."
Think about this, guys. Don Lemon is doing this live on CNN. Right. But now he's acting like a so-called pro-black.
Is that taking the word back? Think about that. Now, number 3, respect where you live.
Wow. Respect where you live. Now, keep in mind, Don Lemon is actually reading a teleprompter of what the white established media wanted him to put out there. But they used blackface to do it. He was doing the work of CNN.
Start small by not dropping trash, littering in your own communities. I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods in my life. I rarely, if ever, witness people littering. I live in Harlem now. It's an historically black neighborhood. Every single day I see adults and children dropping their trash on the ground when a garbage can is just feet away.
Wow. He said he lived in white communities all his life, right? But now that he out there in Harlem, where a bunch of black folk are, he's saying they dirty people. This is what your Don Lemon said about you black folk. But y'all rock with him, right? Y'all want to call me the tether? Listen to how this man is talking about black folk. We're going to do a whole separate video about this.
Black neighborhood. Every single day I see adults and children.
Hold on. Let's get that part where he talked about white neighborhoods.
By not dropping trash, littering in your own communities. I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods in my life. I rarely, if ever, witness people littering.
Wow. So he's basically saying that white people are clean and black people are not.
I live in Harlem now. It's an historically black neighborhood. Every single day I see adults and children dropping their trash on the ground when a garbage can is just feet away.
Wow.
Just being honest here. Number 2, finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty?
Wow. If you want to break the cycle of poverty, listen to how he's talking about black people, fam. Finish school. Guys, do you hear anybody that's white speaking to their white people in this manner? No. But they put Don Lemon to do this on CNN.
Stop telling kids they're acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English. Over the course of a career, a college grad will make nearly $1 million more than a high school graduate.
Wow.
That's a lot of money. And number 1, and probably the most important.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should.
Wow. Imagine that, guys. Now he's attacking the black woman. And this is coming from the guy that's with him. Imagine that, guys. I want you to picture what's going on here. This guy is attacking black women who have children when he's married to a man. Let's go.
Especially without planning for one or getting married first. More than 72% of children in the African American community are born out of wedlock.
Wow.
That means absent fathers. And the studies show that lack of a male role model is an express train right to prison.
Think about how disgusting this is. This rhetoric, this wickedness that this man is speaking on here. Think about that, guys. Coming from him, he shouldn't even be speaking on these issues. He's not even qualified to speak.
And the cycle continues.
Wow. Isn't that amazing, guys? Don't you just love receipts? Do you think you're going to see these YouTubers that like to call me tethers and sellouts and all this goofy stuff? You think they're going to play that tape? Nope. That tape goes in hiding. But we got them receipts, gang. We don't forget about Don Lemon. Oh, yeah. Let's get back to the interview, gang. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the Realist channel on YouTube. Let's go.
And tell people what to think and pit neighbor against neighbor, it compounds the tragedy. It magnifies the tragedy. And I just want to say this. Here's why it's an even bigger tragedy. Because my friends here, Morgan, Jax, and Warren, these guys are not just the finest that Ocean Springs has to offer.
What? The finest that Ocean Spring has to offer? So these white boys, they're the finest of what Ocean Spring has. We got everything we need right there, gang. We got everything we need. That's crazy. That's sick.
Finest that Mississippi.
So basically, they're the finest kids that come out of Ocean Spring because they're white. That's what you're saying? So there's no black people. There's none. Oh, okay. I get it. They're the finest out of. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
He has to offer. These are the finest young men that America has to offer.
The finest young men that America has to offer. That's sick. Guys, that don't sound right, man. Not when we're dealing with the Nolan case, which is racially motivated. And you're here saying that these white boys are the finest that America got to offer. Wow.
You know, really great people. And Tyler Tyler actually taught me good Ocean Springs people. That was one of the first things I heard when I got here. So I'll just say that they're good Ocean Springs people.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying this incredible.
I'm tired of this clown with his damn interruptions. With these damn infomercials and stupidness. He always doing that mess. Let me see. Where'd that damn thing go? I lost my damn spot where I was at, man. Where are we at? I done lost my spot, man. Let me see.
Tragedy. And I just want to say this. Here's why it's an even bigger tragedy.
Let me just leave it alone.
Because my friends here, Morgan, Jax, and Warren, these guys are not just the finest that Ocean Springs has to offer, finest that Mississippi has to offer. These are the finest young men that America has to offer. These are, really great people. And Tyler actually taught me good Ocean Springs people. That was one of the first things I heard when I got here. So I'll just say that they're good Ocean Springs people.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying this incredible interview. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and also join our membership program. Let's get back to the interview. And how confident are you? Because you just met these young men more recently. And are you confident that these young men had nothing to do with it?
Confidence not a strong enough word. In fact, beyond a reasonable doubt is not strong enough. There's a 0% chance that they did anything wrong.
Wow.
So this is not 90%. It's not 99%. It's not 99.9999. There's no decimals. There's no anything. It's 100%.
How could he say that, guys? Like, you got to be reasonable here. I get it. You're representing these guys, but how you were not there, sir. You were not there. Nor do you know anything that could have transpired. Now, we're not saying that they murdered Nolan Wells, because I never said that these guys murdered Nolan Wells, because there's no proof of that. At the same time, all of these young men know Nolan Wells, and they have a circle of friends that know each other, which means people going to know what's going on. Something happened to Nolan Wells. There could have been a freak accident. These young men were drinking. We heard Tristan say that he was drinking. Nolan was drinking, right? All of these guys had beers and alcohol. Well, how come you're not talking about that, sir? The possibility of drugs, again, allegedly. These are young men partying, having fun. They could have been using drugs, alcohol. How come nobody's not talking about the fact that in Mississippi, based on the law, they were supposed to have an adult supervising, like a parent or somebody supervising them as they consume alcohol. But they had nobody there. So what about that, sir? See, nobody want to talk about that. You see what I mean? That's what we got to focus on. You're focusing on all this other stuff. We got to get down to the nitty gritty, because people could speculate. There could have been a cover up. Something could have happened and these young men know about it and they all agree just not to talk about it. Doesn't mean that they killed Nolan, but it could mean that they know what happened. You were not there, sir, so you can't just say, oh, it's 100%. They don't got nothing to do with nothing. You were not there. So you can't say that. Can't.
100.000%, nothing. They did nothing wrong. And that's the problem for our opponents here, who have ruined their lives, dragged them through the mud.
You said that somebody ruined their lives. You would have to prove that. Who? Who ruined their lives? Because I know I didn't. I didn't ruin their lives. I just asked questions. You see? So who ruined their lives? You got to have a name. What content creator ruined the lives of these boys? Who? Were you trying to use some fair tactics? What kind of strategy is this? Because, again, as an attorney, to be doing this publicly, it's weak. It destroys your credibility. It makes it look like you're desperate for attention. Because a real attorney that knows his job, that really understands the business of social media, you wouldn't even be on social media. Never let us know what your next hand play is. Because you're playing checkers right now. Everybody else playing chess. So you got to look at this thing from a strategy point of view. You're letting everybody know what your hand is. You're letting us see your cards, right? It's not smart by even doing these interviews publicly. It weakens your argument. It weakens your case. You're allowing everybody else to clean up whatever it is that they've done. A real attorney that's coming out guns blazing, man, he'll let these content creators get rich. He'll let them stack up and rack up them cash and put out all the lies. And then you'll come out guns blazing. I don't know what kind of attorney this is, but he seemed like he just don't know what he's doing at this point.
And attack them. You don't get to lie. We have a First Amendment. We love our First Amendment, but you don't get to lie and hurt people. You want to lie and it doesn't hurt people? Fine.
You would have to prove that people were hurt. You would have to prove that. That's something you would have to prove. Listen, a defamation case is very difficult to prove in and of itself. It's difficult to prove. You would have to really prove that, just by, this person said this, that person said that. Well, they have freedom of speech, freedom of expression. So they're protected because of the imperfections of people, things that we say, the way we say it. Then you got to look at context. What was they trying to imply? Was it meant to say this, that? It's a difficult thing to prove, So you got a lot of work to do, buddy.
You lie and you hurt people. That's why we have defamation. And that's what this is about. So I just want.
So this is about money. This is about money, or is this about justice? Which one is it about?
Emphasize this in the strongest possible terms.
Is this attorney Italian? Is he Italian? Anybody know? I kind of hear some Italian in there. I grew up around a lot of Italians in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? I went to school with them in junior high and high school. It's you kind of hear it in there somewhere. I don't know. He sound Italian. I don't know. Got to look him up and find out.
Wrongdoing. Completely innocent, totally innocent, and categorically innocent.
And you guys have had experiences with either people threatening you online. I know that, Warren, we talked about this before, and we talked a little, or at least spoke a little bit about when you go out, you guys are getting accosted by people. Can you give us an example of, or at least tell the audience an example of an incident where you guys may have been accosted, or what does that look like when you go out? People threaten you with weapons, or people trying to physically harm you?
What kind of people, Brandon, since you're talking about it? What kind of people? Because that's what I want to know. Are they talking about black people or white people? Are they saying that black people are trying to attack them in public? Because you need to make that clear. Because I know it's not white people. I know it's not. And also, if these things are happening in public, right? Now, I want you guys to think about this. If they're saying that they're being attacked publicly, death threats, people coming up to them, why don't none of these young men have a cell phone? Why none of these young men are shooting video so that they can record and document these things? Like, where's the video footage of this?
Are people having to be restrained? What kind of engagement is happening when you guys go out?
We went to a restaurant, a couple of buddies of mine, and when we were, I wouldn't say threatening with weapons or anything, but I felt, and I know my friends felt, threat for our lives. I mean, I don't think there was like a fear factor, but at the same time, like it's awkward in public, like I stated, like when we have to talk about these things. But we went to a restaurant and someone came up to me and was like, "Is this you?" And I was kind of like shaken up about it. Well, at first she asked like my name and like all these questions, and I was like, okay, whatever, she's just coming up to talk. Well, then she came up to me again and showed me our first interview and was like, are you sure this isn't you? And I was like, well, yeah, that's me, like, obviously. And she kind of just, I looked at my buddy and I was like, yeah, we're leaving, like close everything out, like we're going. And I left, and there was an altercation after I left with some of my buddies that weren't involved in this at all. And they told my friends that they were gonna kill them and they wanted to fight and all this like crazy stuff. I mean, I wasn't there, but my friends told me this, that what the people were saying to them was like totally just crazy. Like, I mean, there was people like that were, outside of this telling us like, hey, you need to leave before something happens because I know what could go down right now. And like, I know that these people are crazy.
These people, who are they? Black, Warren? These people, are they black? Who are the people? Are they white? Are they Russian? Or are they black? Are they the pro-blackity blacks? Which one? Because you got to make that very clear, because we need to know who are the people that are targeting you so that we know what we're up against, like what's really going on, so it could be addressed, because it don't sound right. It don't sound right the way this thing is going, man. It's like you guys are trying to tread lightly. It's like it's already a race issue. So it'll be beneficial to you to just be real. Because if you guys are living in a white community, like who are the people doing this to you? Are white people doing this to you from your own community? I just don't see that happening. I don't see the people from your community doing this. So I need to know, is this a real story or are they just making this stuff up? Because I would have video. If I know I'm out and about and I know that I'm being approached and there's some weird stuff happen, I'm going to have a GoPro camera strapped to me at all times when I'm out and about. I'm literally going to have a GoPro, one of them chest mount GoPros mounted to me when I'm out and about. Because why? I'm recording everything, man. Because anybody come up to me with no Ray nonsense, they getting arrested. And any death threats, anything that you're getting arrested. So I'm trying to figure out where's the video footage, the images, something. None of these guys got anything?
So, I mean, we all felt, we were kind of shaken up about that. It was weird because it was our first encounter as a group. And I think it's also like just crazy that people will like look at you in the eye and tell you they'll kill you because they believe you killed your best friend and you have nothing to do with it.
And Morgan and Jax, were you guys there?
Yes, we were there.
I was there.
Okay, so if all of y'all were there, y'all know who it was. Were they black? Were they black? Were they white? Why Tatum don't ask the questions? Why he ain't doing what Tatum normally do? Tatum, he would normally talk about black people this, black people that. How come he's not talking that talk right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be a great question to ask, like, if you don't mind, what race of people mostly were threatening you, if you can answer that question? You know what I'm saying? Just get it out there and done. It's like, it just leaves everybody in limbo. Like, who are these people talking about? Who?
I didn't hear the part where they said they were going to kill him and stuff, but I did hear whenever she came up to him originally, she was like, hey, you have like TikTok or anything like that? Your face looks really familiar. And he was like, no, I don't have TikTok or anything like that. And she was like, oh, okay. And then walked off and then came back with, like you said, the first interview on her phone and showing him. She's like, so this isn't you. Either you have a doppelganger or this is you. And he was like, well, yeah, that's me. And then we got the check and we bounced and we were waiting outside for everybody else to get out of there. And while we're waiting outside is whenever some of our other buddies that aren't even on social media that we were just there with was getting told that they were other people are going to kill them and all that kind of stuff.
And you ain't get that on tape? Your friends didn't get that on tape? So nobody got nothing on tape, right? I don't believe that story. I don't believe it, guys. I don't. I'm looking at the facial expressions. I don't believe it, guys. I'm very good with body language. Very, very good with body language, guys. I'm looking at the body language. It's almost like they're trying to sell that to the public. They're trying to sell that on Brandon's page. Like, you think that'll work? You think that's believable? You think they'll believe that story, that we're victims, that they were threatening to kill us? Like, let's just be honest, guys. You know? You guys are out in Mississippi. Let me check something out, gang. Let me see. Let me check this out. Give me a minute. Let me go do some research real fast. Let me see. Quick research. Give me a minute, guys. Give me a minute. Let me go do this research real fast. Okay. Okay. Bum bum bum. Because all of this scary stuff they're dealing with, it just doesn't make sense. Okay. Asks a question. Can an 18-year-old carry a gun in Mississippi? It says, yes, you can open carry a pistol at 18 in Mississippi without a permit, provided you can legally possess a firearm. However, concealed carry in public or getting a concealed carry permit requires you to be 21. But it says an 18-year-old in Mississippi can open carry a pistol at 18 in Mississippi without a permit. So I'm trying to figure out, if these young men are in Mississippi and you see the climate of the situation where everybody is crashing out, people acting crazy and weird in the street, why y'all don't got a gun? Why y'all not open carrying? Like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm just asking questions because I know I would have my gun where you can see it. Like, literally. I'll be walking around and you will see my gun on me at all times. And I dare somebody to try me with threats. I dare you to do that mess. Coming up to me saying you're going to kill me. So I don't understand this. And why Officer Tatum don't ask those questions like, do you guys, when y'all in the street, are y'all armed? Do you guys have protection? Like, where the questions that make sense? I would not be walking around in the street with my buddies unarmed if I know that people are crashing out and making threats. I'm gonna have my gun with me, 2 guns. Let's get back to the content. Hit the like button.
So how did that make you guys feel when did you think they were serious? Did you think it was just people trying to make a name for themselves by confronting you in front of others? Like, what was your take on that, Morgan?
I think it was just like, I was in the general area of where one of our buddies was, where this altercation happened. And I actually got into a conversation with a fellow next to me that wasn't even involved. And he told me straight up, he was like, if I was y'all right now, I would leave before y'all get hurt.
Get hurt by who? By who? Are they black people that's doing this to you or white people? We need answers, man. Like, come on now. Yeah, you're right. They are setting up a narrative for any black rage baiting grifter that may dare to approach them. Yeah, that would make sense.
Y'all need to leave right now. I'm just watching out for y'all and making sure y'all are safe. And I mean, I wouldn't say that those people would have physically done something in that moment, but I think they were playing like almost like a mental game, like just to get into your head and just almost like make yourself like just think these things that obviously are not true.
Nah, y'all walking around being scared, bro. I would have my gun. And, you know, it is what it is. I'm not trying to harm nobody with my gun, but at the end of the day, if I know that I'm one of Nolan's friends and I'm plastered all over the internet and everybody's speaking lies, I'm walking around with 2 guns. And it is what it is. I ain't gonna be out here dry and people talking about what they gonna do to me. Nah, you going in a box, bro. Like straight up. So I'm surprised Tatum ain't even asking the right questions. Like, do you guys walk around with protection? Like, you know, did y'all film any of these interactions with people threatening you? Like, come on, man. This is poor journalism.
You can go back to the very beginning of this. How do you think this should have played out? Because I always question in my mind that when I go back, I look at what happened, I look at the initial stories with Nolan, and you guys knew him, right? I didn't know him. I know none of you guys. I just had a chance to meet you guys more recently. But how do you think this should have gone? If you could control the environment, Nolan is found deceased. How do you guys think that this should have been put out to the world?
So first off, I wish that none of this would ever happen. I wish Nolan could still be here with us today. And I wish that, like I said, none of this would ever happen. Like, I wish that all this could be erased and Nolan could be here tomorrow. I mean, that's more than anything. But other than that, I feel like his mom blasting us on social media from the get-go, saying that he was out there with.
I noticed they edit the video. If you look here, they edit the video. Look.
All this could be erased and Nolan could be here tomorrow. I mean, that's more than anything. But
they just clipped out a whole bunch of information right there. Something happened. Something happened between that point and they clipped it out.
And that, I feel like his mom blasting us on social media from the get-go, saying that he was out there with Warren and another guy. That's where it first started to take off. And then also the fact that she posted a picture of me and Morgan and another guy and Nolan on the boat together, blasting that out there, pushing this narrative, kind of, I guess. I wish that would have never happened either. And I don't think if those would have never happened, a lot of this stuff wouldn't have been as viral or gone all over the country at this point. I mean, this is a countrywide news story.
The only reason why it became popular is because you guys are white. If you guys were black, if you were a part of the blackity blacks, you would not have none of those issues. That's just the truth. You know? Let me see if I can pull this up. Right? Let me see if I can pull this up real quick, guys. Let me add this to the video, right? Because I want to show you guys some so you guys can understand, right? So let me leave that there. And let me go get something else. Give me a minute, guys. Give me a minute. Let me see. Where is that other image? Give me a minute. Hold on. Here we go. Let's get this. Yeah. This is it. Okay. So if this was the image that was plastered all over social media, nobody would care. If all of Nolan's friends were like that, nobody would care. But because they're white, now it becomes a race issue. You see that? It's something about when you put Nolan next to white flesh, now it becomes a race issue. Now we could say Mississippi, sundown towns, lynchings, the Klan. But if you go back to this, you can't say Mississippi is racist now. You can't talk about sundown towns. Can't talk about lynchings. You can't talk about nothing because his friends are black. Do you see? That's where the disconnect comes from. When I show black people this, they get upset with me. You see what I mean? If somebody's white, they understand exactly where I'm coming from. You know? But when you show black folk, if Nolan Wells' friends were black, no one would care. This story would not get national news if all his friends were black. Nobody would care, guys. They wouldn't. It's just a fact. Right? They care because his friends was white. That's why they care. Because they're white, so they got to be racist and white supremacists. Ain't that amazing, guys? Hit that like button. Let's go. Hold on.
Abortion, and the fact that it was our news story that is just blown out of proportion, and the fact that it was our best friend and it's not what people are saying it is what hurts the most. I mean, that was our brother. I mean, straight up. That's what I told his dad the night that he came over to my house. He was like, blah, blah, saying something. I was like, dude, that was my brother. Like, and you know that. He knows that. We were picking him up every single day. He never drove. I can't tell you how many times I pulled up in his driveway and picked him up. And it wasn't him asking. It was just because that's what we did. We just picked up Nolan all the time. That's how we, came about to all the stuff that we were going to. We'd go and pick him up. That's how much we like to be around him. We would do stuff like that all the time,
Well, first off, like I wish we would have never, like I think about this every day. Like I wish we would have never went out on the 4th of July because I know this wouldn't have happened. Nolan wouldn't be gone, and like it's really hard to think about because it's like I wish I would have done this different, or I wish I would have done that different because now one of my brothers wouldn't have passed away. But I think
listen, there's something about Warren, man, that when he speaks, there's a lot of nervous energy in his words. His words are shaky. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but his words sound very shaky, like it's coming from a place of fear. Like he know there's something went down, and it's like they just got to stick to the story. That's what I'm seeing, man. It's like I see guilt. I'm not hearing confidence. I'm not hearing confidence, yeah, we don't got nothing to do with this. It's almost like, yeah, maybe you guys didn't kill Nolan. Maybe you didn't kill him, but you know how he died. You get what I'm saying? Like they know how he died, but they're not saying nothing. It's like they feel bad. Like, in other words, we know how he died, but we got to act like we weren't there because it was just really, really messed up how he passed away.
From the beginning, I'm glad that I called the Coast Guard, and I'm glad that we came together as a group, even from the first day when people started texting us things, saying, crazy things. But I wish it wouldn't have been reported as some type of race thing. I think it's really bad that people are pushing the narrative, oh, this is a race thing. Well, obviously it's not. I mean, this is like a brother to us. I mean, Nolan's no different than anyone else in our group. And I just wish this wasn't pushed on the media as, oh, this is a bunch of white guys that killed a black guy, or this is, in the beginning it was 4 guys went to a stranded island and dumped Nolan at the island and just left him there. Even from the beginning, it was just this thing, and no one had facts, and they were just pushing this horrible narrative.
I kind of talked about that a little bit, what Monica said, because I literally showed you guys. Where is it? Where is that thing? Where'd that thing go? Is this it? Yeah. This is suspect, fam. I don't care what nobody say. This is gay. I don't care what nobody say, guys. Got to call it what it is, fam. You know what I'm saying? To each his own. At the same time, this is suspect. You know what I mean? It definitely is. And I don't know. It could have been some sort of quarrel. I don't know. It could have been. You never know. You never know, fam. It could have been something going down, man. I don't know, man. Something going down. Like, we need some more context on these photos, bro. Like, because these dudes are pretty much dressed similar. You know, we need to know where this come from. Was this some Flintstone outfit? Like, what is going on with this? This is suspect. I don't care what nobody say. Ain't no masculine man wearing that, fam.
Lies about everyone, and it's sick. So I wish that would have been completely different. I'm glad I called the Coast Guard. I'm glad I made the first contact within all of this. I'm glad I was the first one that called Christine Wells that night and told her that we haven't heard from her son. And I'm glad.
How could you hear from her son if he don't have his cell phone, Warren? I want you to think, Warren, about what you said publicly. You rushed to go on Brandon Tatum's show to interview, right? And then you went to Christine to contact her and ask her, have you heard from Nolan? How, if he don't have his cell phone? Does that make sense, Warren? It don't make sense to contact the mom and ask her, have you heard from Nolan, when Nolan don't have his phone? That is a red flag. I think you messed up by contacting the mom, and it messed up your whole alibi. Because why would you contact her to ask her, have you heard? She can't hear from a kid that don't have a phone because he can't contact her. You see? Hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Well, I said that earlier. It could have been Halloween. It could have been a Halloween party. But then again, they got to give context when they post these type of things. Because it speaks volumes of some rainbow activity. You know? But I don't know. Maybe they were shooting a Flintstone video because you see some lights on the side. So it probably something. I don't know. I wouldn't be caught with that mess. So, but let's go.
And I did all of that, but I hate the way this has been perceived by the media and portrayed. This has like been absolutely horrible with the way and the things that they've said to us and done. But other than that, I mean, there's not much I would change from my point of view and my friend's point of view. I think we did everything right, and I know we did nothing wrong.
I also want to say, I think it's so criminal that they took something so anti-racist and flipped it into something super racist. Like they took, this is the definition of anti-racism. I mean, that we did not look at Nolan any different than I looked at him, or even you.
But why you gotta say that though? See, that's the problem that I got. It's that you gotta explain yourself like that. It sounds weird. You guys keep repeating yourself by saying, well, Nolan was a brother of ours. He was like a brother to us. You know what I'm saying? We treat him no different than we treat each other. Like why you got to keep saying that though? You know, you don't got to explain that. When you have to explain that to people, it's a sign of guilt. You got to understand how the mind works, and you just don't need to explain. That's like if I'm black, I don't need to explain to another black person that I'm black. I don't got to go through all these things to try to prove myself. No. Yeah, it's like it's guilt when they do that, man.
No, this is literally our brother. I mean, like we stated, we did not treat him any different.
You see how many times he keep repeating? They keep saying the same thing, man. It don't sound good.
We didn't treat Tristan any different. We don't treat Tristan any different.
No, we ain't treat Tristan any different because remember, Tristan has melanated skin too, and he's probably, probably partially black, whatever black. I don't know. Y'all understand what I mean? These mixed kids, whatever.
And they just flipped it. And I just think that is so wild that they're pushing this thing that they're saying, oh, they want to end racism and all this stuff. Well, they're the one pushing it. They're pushing the racism.
He said they. So he's talking about black people. He said they. So he's talking about black people, y'all. Well, why don't he just say that? You see? That's where people going to have issues with, man, because when you're white, right? And you don't address things clearly, and you say like, it's like saying them people. That's like you a white guy and you like them people over there. It's like, it just comes off bad. You know, you got to be more specific in what you're addressing because it can come off offensive. And I think that they're talking a lot about black people, but they're not mentioning black people because they want to remain neutral so that you don't know, well, it could be black, it could be white. You don't really know who they're talking about, Ringo. You don't know. So stop judging, Ringo. One of them type of things.
And I just think that's kind of crazy.
Morgan, what's your thoughts on this? How does it affect you?
If I mean, first I want to say wish this would have never happened. I wish Nolan would still be here with us today. And
what's so crazy, guys, is Charleston White, early in the case, Charleston White came out and was like, look, them dudes were banging Nolan. He said that thing early in the case, and people was upset with him. But again, when you think about it, man, you never know. You never know what goes on behind the scenes, bro.
In my opinion, I think that the media, they shouldn't have pushed a narrative from so early. I think that they should have let the local officials do their job, let them release statements, and then...
No, you guys should have shut up and not get involved. That's what y'all should have did. Y'all should have never did interviews, speak to anybody publicly, and just stay quiet. You ain't have to speak. By you guys doing these interviews, you opening up can of worms because you're telling us things, and now it makes us ask more questions. So you really got to be careful with this stuff, man.
I mean, the media is obviously going to see that and then do whatever they do. But that's what I trust the local officials.
Ed, with what has transpired, you know, how does that dictate your response? Because you have a 30,000 foot view of all of this stuff, right? You see the way that it could have went, and you see that there's people that instigated the narrative that's out there now. And as a, defamation attorney, how does this navigate your tactics?
Sure, and I want to be clear about something. Tonight, I'm not going to give any particular person any more oxygen than they may have already sucked up. But I will say this. What's been said about Morgan, Jax, and Warren, I'm not going to call them untruths or half-truths or falsehoods. I'm going to call it what it is, lies.
Okay, so who are the ones that are spreading those lies, sir? Who's doing it? You got to answer that, man, because it's like you're confusing people on social media, especially the viewers, right? Because when you guys do these interviews, these videos, it's for the people. So it's like when I go live and I'm talking about this stuff, it's for the people. People want to know things. They want answers. And people don't like bullshit, right? They want you to get to the point and address who you're talking about. So if I got 400 people viewing the show, right? They want to know which content creator you're talking about. Are you talking about mainstream media? Are you talking about TMZ? Are you talking about certain influencers? Are you talking about Nolan's mother? Who you're talking about? That would make things interesting because it's like, okay, now we know who are the main targets,
So the first thing that's really important here is we're dealing with lies and liars. We're dealing with profiteers.
Okay, profiteers. So somebody's profiting, right? Somebody's profiting, We're dealing with the grifters, the rage baits, the race hustlers.
We're dealing with hustlers.
Hustlers, that's a good word. Hustlers. Willie D Live. If Willie D Live is not on your list, your defamation list, then shame on you, sir. You did a horrible job. Because like I said, fam, where's that list? Here's your list. This is a good list for you guys to pretty much start with. Because these content creators have been publishing lie after lie after lie. And they don't care because they focusing on that $10 to $35, $40,000 YouTube check. That's what they looking for. You know how wonderful it is, fam, to be a content creator and you get a $30,000, $60,000 YouTube check for lying all day? That's what these content creators are getting, fam. That's what they getting, man. And they milking the system. And they got black people dumbed down because they lying to black people. That's the sad part about it, is that they're lying to their own people in order to hustle them to get a check. They're thirsty for checks. That's what they're doing all day.
And one thing that I've seen since I got here is that Ocean Springs, Mississippi, is a really beautiful place. And the region is very beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places in the country. And there is just no question, the death of Nolan Wells is a horrendous tragedy. But for the tragedy to then be magnified after his death for no reason other than profit is a disgrace, or what we would call a shanda.
So you said for profit. So are we talking about Nolan's mother? Because she profited. And social media is a business. So content creators want to earn money, and there's nothing wrong with earning money. But when you earn money through lying, that's when it becomes a problem for me. I don't like these grifters that are lying all day because they're profiting off the death of Nolan Wells by lying. It's one thing if you're just doing content and you earn a living. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? But when you lie in order to earn your money every day, that's a sick thing, man. That's sick. And there's a lot of people that's doing that. You know, make sure you guys hit the like button, guys. If you can be so kind, hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. We got 400 in the building. We don't even have 200 likes, guys. We need to have 400 likes. So hit the like button. If you're on a vertical, double tap the screen. That'll hit the like button. If not, just click the thumbs up so that YouTube can send more notifications out there for people to come in and get this content.
And I had the opportunity to go to Horn Island today with Tyler and Warren and Jax. And a lot of people who have been sucking up way more oxygen than they're entitled to.
So now he's talking about, listen, I can guarantee you he's talking about somebody on this list. Because one in particular, matter of fact, two of these guys, you have Taylor House Publishing. Man, I can't even say two. Man, pretty much all the blackety blacks been saying the same thing. They've been saying that Nolan was lynched. A lot of these content creators repeated that same lie. Said that he was lynched by his friends, you know, on Horn Island. So trust and believe. The attorney is talking about people that's on this list, guys. Guaranteed. I'm telling you. He's talking about people that are on that list. And they know.
Not been to the island. I'm willing to bet that a lot of the hustlers and profiteers and liars have not been to that island. And you have to go to that island. And being at the island today was revelatory. It was really illuminating. It's a very dynamic marine environment, first of all. But when you go to the island, you see instantly that what some people want to be true, what they wish to be true, they're trying to wish it to be true.
What is he talking about? That Nolan was lynched. I'm reading his mind. Trust and believe me. Matter of fact, if that attorney is even listening right now, am I correct in reading your mind when I say that while you're talking and you're saying that the hustlers, what they want to believe, does that have anything to do with Nolan being hanged, lynched on Horn Island? Because I know I'm right. I know I'm right. Let's go.
They're trying to make it true through their lies. It's actually not possible. It is a very, very long and narrow barrier island. It's basically very low sand dunes. And in the particular part of the island that we're dealing with, there are no trees.
No trees. There goes my point. No trees. So Nolan cannot get lynched, guys. Nobody hanged him, as many have been saying. You see what he just said? That confirms my theory. Let's go.
It's hardly any foliage, hardly any tree cover, hardly any plants, and it's wide open. And on July 4th, there were thousands of people there.
Which means somebody would have saw something if somebody murdered him.
There is no possible way that anybody could have committed a murder in broad daylight on a barren, windswept island that is narrow and was just swamped with people that day in broad daylight. It's just not possible given the natural environment there. And that leads me to the next point, which is this. Once you know what the timeline is, when you combine the timeline with the actual dynamics of the island itself, all of the lies completely unravel because it isn't possible, and here's why. Morgan, Warren, and Jax left the island at about 4:30 p.m. That's it. They were gone. That is not open for debate. So that's a fact. They were gone. And at that time, Nolan Wells was still alive. Now, I'm not going to name them out of respect for their privacy, but just as one example, there are two very fine, upstanding members of the Ocean Springs community who saw Nolan Wells at about 10 minutes to 6 p.m. So about an hour and a half after these fine young men had left the island, they were gone, departed. Nolan Wells was alive. And these two witnesses, two very reliable, very credible, and very upstanding members of the community, they saw Nolan. And they've known Nolan for years. There's no chance that they made a mistake. And by the way, this can be corroborated through other evidence, other eyewitness accounts. And that's the end of it right there. And that's before we get into everything else about the situation.
And there's
I don't think that see, here's the thing. Let me respond to let's see, where'd that comment? Okay. What I tell you, let me see, is this Julius? Okay. It says, what I tell you, they've cleared these three. See, here's the thing, right? Even if there's a timestamp of what and what, that may clear you of murder, but that doesn't clear you of knowing what happened. You see what I'm saying? Remember that other case? Is it something Irvin? What's that other guy? It was another black guy that drowned. Something Irvin, something, I don't know. And in that case, his own friends basically tampered with evidence to cover up their tracks, to hide what took place. And keep in mind, his white friends didn't kill him. It was a freak accident and he died. You see? So when you think about it, an accident happened. Something happened. These young men could have been, they could have been drinking, smoking, using some drugs, playing some type of game, and something happened and Nolan was out. And everybody panicked. and just kind of just stay quiet. Because when you think about it, guys, if you think about the fact that all these young men were leaving and they left Nolan behind, like everybody was leaving. Why would everybody be leaving at the same time? Like, it just, like, damn. Like, why everybody leaving? Everybody was coming back home while it was still day. You would figure they would have been there all the way to the night, you know? But no, they wanted to leave. So it kind of looked kind of weird. And then to think that you guys had water on the boat is like, okay, what's going on? Let's get back to the content. Let's go.
When I look at this, I feel like there's levels of defamation and areas of defamation.
Listen, Brandon, you're a snitch. Like, hear Brandon talking about there's levels of defamation. I don't like this dude, bro. You know why I don't like you, bro? Because you're working with them. I wouldn't be surprised if you're pointing people out that you just don't agree with in order to put the batteries in the attorney's back so he could go after them. I don't like this guy, bro. Like, the way he's saying this stuff, he's putting batteries in the backs of that attorney. And he probably already put together a list of the people he don't like personally. You know? I don't trust this dude, bro. I really don't.
And I'm not going to speak on your behalf because this is y'all's story to tell, your story to litigate. But which areas are the most egregious that you are going to go after, or that you guys think also are areas where people have taken this situation and clearly lied to the public? One being the phone call. What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and...
Some people, you already know who it is, man. You're talking about that Jeanette lady. The Jeanette lady is the one who put that out there, right? Then you have Willie D. I believe he talked about that. You have Nancy Grace. She talked about that. A lot of content creators talked about that. You had Don Lemon. You had everybody talking about that call. And they even interviewed the very same woman. So it's very clear she most likely is on the chopping block of one of the race hustlers that's going to be hauled into court. Let's go.
Done enhancements to the audio, and in doing that, created a transcript manually. It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. What are your thoughts, first, you guys, on the audio, and then I'll get to you, Ed, on could that be a defamatory area the way it was produced? So what do you guys think about that audio?
So now we got to wait for part 2. See, this is what I mean about hustling. Now, remember, guys, when Brandon did his initial interview with Warren and Tristan, he broke it down into parts just like this. And each of those videos got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views, which is making him tens of thousands of dollars monthly. Brandon probably makes $100,000 or more monthly on YouTube, right? So look what he's doing. Now we got to wait for part 2. So what is he doing? He's trying to capitalize off the views. And pretty much everybody get that playbook from Vlad TV. Vlad TV is the one that invented that. Meaning he'll do a whole interview, and the interview will be like an hour and a half, and Vlad would put out little 8-minute clips. 8-minute clips. Boom, 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 boom. And each of those clips will get hundreds of thousands of views, and then he'll release the whole video. So what Tatum is doing, he's not giving you the whole video. Why? He's trying to earn as much money as he can. So he's not really focusing on getting the truth out there. He's trying to get money. You know? He's trying to get the money. So the question that we got to understand is this about getting the truth out there? Is this about getting justice? Is this about clearing these white boys? Or is this about making money? It's about making money. That's what it's about, gang. So now we got to wait for part 2 of this video, which is a waste of time. We could have got it all done right now. But it is what it is. So there you have it, guys. We're going to have part 2 later on in the day. Also, I got to continue the live stream that I did with Umar Johnson. We got to continue from there. Had a lot going on yesterday. And, I'm saying I got to take care of other business besides my YouTube stuff. Remember, I'm a family man, got other responsibilities. But nonetheless, guys, appreciate y'all stopping by. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It is what it is. If you want to support the show, guys, and you feel that I'm worthy of your support, you can hit my Cash App, $Ringo TV Raw. It's pinned at the top in the live chat. Or you could go into the video description and you can find, my Cash App, my PayPal. It is what it is. Support the work that we do. That's how we keep the lights on. Other than that, be sure to subscribe. We're going to do more on this particular video series and break it all down. I think that by this attorney coming on social media is a bad idea. I think that he should have had on proper clothing for an attorney so that people could take you serious. It's like dressing like one of the boys. It's kind of immature. It doesn't make you look like an authority on the case. And it's just a lot people gonna have to say. So we'll see what happens in part 2, because he left off with basically asking like what kind of situation or what kind of lies have been told that he's more likely going after in terms of what was said about these young men. So they're going to probably break that down later on today. Right? So it is what it is. We'll catch you guys on the next one. So until then, guys, we're going to get up on out of here. Ringo TV Reactions, #1 reactionary channel on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one. Yeah. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Ringo TV Reactions. Putting in work since 2006 till now. Subscribe today. Hit that notification bell for more, and we'll catch you on the next one. This is Ringo TV Reactions signing out. I'm out of here. Peace. Y'all have a blessed one. Peace and blessings to the mods in the chat, cloud viewers. Make sure you hit the like button, guys, before you get up on out of here. Y'all have a blessed one. We out. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/Ringo TV Raw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at Ringo TV Raw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth 100% raw.